right. Well, we will get started for tonight's event. Again, I want to thank everyone for joining us. My name is Donald Vivian. I'm a senior assistant director here in our Office of Undergraduate Admissions. I work with students from Boston, the North Shore of Mass. I work with all of our international students as well. So I am really excited to have you join us to learn, again, just a little bit more about what's coming next in this process, but also try to get as many questions answered as possible. That does mean we are joined by two of our student ambassadors, Abby and Clara. Both of them will join us for our Q&A portion of the evening. But you can see their majors and what they've been involved in, and we'll talk to them more about what that really means here at the university as well. But before we get started, really tonight is going to again be focused on next steps. We're going to focus on that live Q&A, and then we're just going to wrap up and take a few minutes to again take a breath and remind you that you're all good in this process. You're right where you need to be, and we'll just take a few moments at the end, like I said, to wrap up. But as you think about next steps, I think first thing we want to do is just congratulate you all. Again, you all have been admitted to the University of New England. I assume you've all been admitted to other universities and colleges across the US or internationally. And I just want to take a moment to congratulate all of you on that accomplishment. Again, if you haven't taken any time to celebrate that moment or celebrate that accomplishment, please do, because it is really cool and it is a really great opportunity for you all to go and pursue education wherever that may be. So again, take a moment and just really pat yourself on the back and say good job, because really congratulations to everyone on their acceptances. Now, for the University of New England, the next major step, if you haven't done this already, this is really crucial, is to apply for financial aid. You can see our individual filing code there. Each individual university or college has their own individual filing code. But if you have filed for financial aid and have not received your financial aid package back yet, please don't hesitate to reach out to our student financial services. Here is their contact information. They are happy to set up one-on-one virtual appointments as well. But like I said, if you haven't received your financial aid package yet, please utilize this as a time to capture that information in terms of who you can reach out to, because they are more than happy to chat and get you that information so you can have the most information before making that final decision. The next step after financial aid is really paying that enrollment deposit. We're at a point now where we're coming close to that national enrollment deadline of May 1st, and students will need to make that final decision before that deadline and pay that enrollment deposit to secure your spot on campus. Now, we do offer that $500 enrollment deposit. Again, you have until May 1st, so you have a couple weeks to pay that. But this is really your way, again, to secure your spot at the university and make sure that you have that spot in your major, have that spot on campus. We're really excited to possibly have you join our community, but this is just your way to really secure that spot on campus. Now, the other cool thing is after you submit that deposit, you can really start to connect with students in your class. So start and join our new Nor'easter Instagram page, meet potential roommates, learn more just about your classmates, where they're coming from. So it's a really fun opportunity just to start to introduce yourself and get to know the people that you're going to be, taking classes with, and the people that you're going to have an opportunity to live on campus with as well. So really fun opportunity to connect with our students. And after that, really is coming for accepted student days. And if you haven't already, if you haven't had a chance to visit campus, this is a great way to come and sort of do everything in all in one day. It provides you that opportunity to, again, see residence halls, get a chance to talk with faculty, get a chance to meet other students, from that accepted major that you've been admitted to. So a lot of great opportunities just to see where you're going to be living and what you're going to be up to. We also offer accepted student tours throughout the spring, so you can come to campus and have a specific tour with other accepted students. But we will offer campus tours throughout the summer, even again as we get into the fall. So if you haven't had a chance to come visit, or if you haven't had a chance, to come before you get to campus, there's always that opportunity to visit with us and have a chance just to tour around campus in general. The next major step after you've submitted that enrollment deposit, it will be the housing and dining application. What that will entail is really going to be listing your housing preferences. Are you a morning person? Are you an evening person? Are you messy, clean? All these different types of questions that if you're answering honestly, if you're entering into that sort of roommate draw process, you have an opportunity to be paired with someone who has, again, a similar background, similar lifestyle to you. We really try not to pair students who have conflicting lifestyles, just because we don't find that's going to be really advantageous for either student. So again, if you're answering those preferences and answering those questions honestly, we're going to try to pair students with again, a likely match. Now, you still do have an opportunity to select a roommate as well through this process. If you do, meet someone at accepted student days or orientation, or know someone from your hometown or your high school, you are more than welcome to select them as your roommate. And in general, the majority of our first year students are going to be in double or triple housing options. So just to keep that in mind as you think about what's available for you moving forward, that's going to really be a double or a triple for the majority of our first year students, depending on space available. But if you have any questions, again, you can reach out to our housing office. You can always learn a little bit more information by scanning that QR code. It'll bring you right to a housing information video that talks about first year housing, second and third year housing, what is available for a first year resident hall, what does it look like to live in a first year residence hall, what do we have opportunities outside of that, what do our resident advisors do. So it's a really in-depth video for you to learn a little bit more. Again, it's right on our YouTube page, so you can scan that you can scan that QR code there and learn a little bit more about our housing process. But the next step after the housing and filling that information out is orientation. And we're going to offer 3 orientation dates throughout the summer. Again, you can see those 3 dates in June, and this will be required for all admitted first year students who are attending the university in the fall. So this is an opportunity for you. If you've submitted that enrollment deposit and you're ready to start to connect with us a little bit more and engage, you have that opportunity to sign up for orientation. And in addition to our regular orientation date, which will include that overnight stay, as you can see, but also a parent orientation session as well, we will also offer a Trailblazer trip. Now, these are more immersive experiences. As you can see, students are going out in small groups, really getting to explore the state of Maine and what we have to offer, and really just having an opportunity to, again, connect in a small group with your future classmates, make those first friends on campus. So there's a few different options. That's likely a level 3 option in terms of whitewater rafting, but we got a level 1 option, which is more like local exploration. A level 2 option provides students an opportunity to just get out and go and explore Maine in a couple different ways. So there's really something for every student. And if you are interested, again, you can go and sign up for those now as well. And then finally, as you get into the summer after you've graduated and really taken some time to celebrate that moment as well, you're going to submit that official high school transcript, and that will include any AP or IB scores as well. That will need to be submitted from the high school. That can be sent virtually to admissions@une.edu. You can send a hard copy to us as well. The virtual copy is definitely the easiest way for us to integrate that into your file. But be sure to include your transcript with your graduation date listed. It will need to be listed in month, date, and year. This is for all college universities that you're saying yes to. When you submit that final high school transcript, just make sure you're asking your counselor, hey, is my graduation date listed in month, day, and year? So just that's something to keep in mind as you think about your final high school transcript. And then you can submit those AP or IB score reports as well. And then finally, the real major last step is just submitting those health forms. So this would be submitted by July 1st. Those are the immunization and health insurance forms. Again, you can find more information out on our Just Student Health website. And this is a really, again, major step that we're going to need before your students are getting to campus. So if you have any questions, definitely reach out to them. They're more than happy to chat around what services students have access to. What does the Student Health Center actually provide for students? So there's a lot of great services that students have access to that we can answer some more questions on as well. Now, I would like to invite our students back to the forefront so we can learn a little bit more about their experiences on campus. Awesome. Welcome, Abby. Welcome, Clara. Thanks for joining us tonight. Abby, could you just introduce yourself a little bit more?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Abby. I'm a senior here at UNE studying occupational studies, and I have a minor in special education. Here at UNE, I've been a part of Pre-OT Club, and this year I am the co-president of the club. And I've also participated in working orientation the past 2 years, so I've been very involved with new students and things like that, as well as being a student ambassador.
Awesome. Thank you, Abby. Clara, how about yourself?
Hi everyone. So I'm a sophomore nursing student, and on campus I am part of the EMS club that we have. I also just got voted president-elect next year for the Student Nursing Association. Um, I'm also part of the running club and the mixed martial arts club. So there is a lot
Awesome.
on campus.
Very cool. That is one of the cool things I find with our student ambassadors, a really diverse involvement across the group. I know last year we had some people who were presidents of the MMA club and stuff like that. So some really unique experiences depending on what you want to do. And Clara, congratulations on the president-elect. I didn't know that. It's really exciting. Um, but Abby, as you think about, being an orientation leader and just thinking about these students transitioning, whether they've been deposited already or whether they're admitted and thinking about deposited, can you talk about some of the support that students has as they transition to campus?
Yeah, a lot of things, especially during orientation, we do a lot of small group building, a ton of team building activities and things like that. So you can really get to know who's at your orientation session and really get to know your prospective students that you're going to be having classes with, which is really fun. And also really get to connect with all the orientation leaders who are students here and know a lot of information about everything on campus and can help connect with different clubs and things like that as well.
Yeah, very cool. And I know, as you know, I'm a club sports coach as well. So there's a lot of ways to stay engaged and stay active. If you're not a recruited athlete, there's a lot of intramural sports to be involved in. There's a lot of club sports to be involved in if you're looking to be competitive as well. So those types of ways to be out and get engaged are also a great way to make those first friends on campus as well. And as you transition to campus, in August through that first week, you're going to have things like, clubs and orgs fair, where you're going to have an opportunity to see all the different clubs and organizations on campus. So there's a lot of ways as you get in those first couple of weeks to really transition to campus. Um, Clara, we've had a question come in about the living learning communities. Can you talk a little bit more about this? And then Abby, I'm just going to go back to you on the sort of similar question specifically for AES students, students in the med bio track. Can you talk about what that might look like for them in those living learning communities as well? So
So, yeah, my first year, I lived in a living learning community. I didn't know anyone coming into UNE at all. Um, so everyone on my floor was in a similar major to me. It was all health sciences. I was in that one. And we all became really close. We all actually went to Morocco together. We're still friends right now. And we would have kind of like study groups unofficially. So we were all taking pretty much the same classes at the same time. So it was nice when you had a question, you could just bang on someone's door and ask them.
very cool. And Abby, working, as an occupational studies student, working closely with AES, AT, that occupational therapy, physical therapy world. Can you talk about some of the experiences that you have, obviously with the living learning communities, but also within, the College of Health Professions as well?
Yeah, with the College of Health Professions, they do a really good job of making sure a lot of the classes and things like that are very hands-on. Specifically for, I know, occupational studies and a lot of applied exercise science students and things like that in nursing, we have a full simulation dummy Bill over at the forum, and he has a heart rate, he has a pulse. You get to actually practice taking blood pressure on him, learning respiratory rates and things like that, which is really helpful. Um, and also with my experience as occupational studies, we have opportunities for internships and things like that, um, which you can do really in any of your semesters after your first year. So I did one my sophomore year, which was really exciting.
Awesome. Thank you. As a reminder, keep those questions coming in through the Q&A. We're happy to answer any and all questions tonight. So please don't hesitate to ask, or don't hesitate to drop those questions in the Q&A. In terms of a question, we've got a question in terms of parking. Parking is available for students in that first year. So you do have that opportunity to bring a car on campus starting in that first semester. Parking is done by seniority though, so you will need to buy a parking pass. So there is an additional fee associated with the parking pass. And it is done by seniority, like I said. So fourth year students will get first priority down to first year students. So we can't guarantee you that opportunity for you to have that parking pass or have that car on campus. But I will tell you that if you don't have a car on campus, you will likely have one of your friends or multiple friends who have cars on campus. I think getting around is pretty simple or pretty easy as well. There's a free bus that runs to and from the campus center all the way down to downtown Biddeford and the transportation center down there. So if you live in the Boston area, the Amtrak Downeaster train, which runs from uh, Boston North Station all the way up to Brunswick, Maine, will actually stop in Biddeford Saco. So it's a really easy way to get out if to and from Boston if you want to spend a weekend there. But also, again, that free transportation is a really great way to get down into Biddeford if you want to spend an afternoon getting some coffee or just taking some time off of campus as well. But like I said, you do have that opportunity to have that car on campus as well. Um, Clara, could you talk a little bit more about your abroad experience and how, again, as a nursing student, how that one was pretty unique, but also just going abroad and that experience in general?
Sure. I was abroad this fall semester, so from August to December. I really, really enjoyed it. I would 100% go again. Everyone became really close-knit there as well. There were, I believe, 45 of us. I was able to stay on track with all of my nursing classes, so I was still taking like medical microbiology while I was over there, and that still fit into my class. And I also got to take things like an Arabic class where I got to learn how to talk to some people and like how to communicate better. It was really amazing. We got to go on some trips through the school as well. We got to go to Sevilla, Spain for a weekend, and that was really incredible. Um, I
Wow,
had never left the country, so it was really cool to suddenly be able to travel all the time.
that is really cool. Did you go anywhere else besides Spain?
Yes, I mostly traveled in Morocco on the weekends, but we had Thursdays, was my last day of class. Thursday afternoons I had free, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I could go travel. I went to Italy, England, I went to Spain a few times, and I think I'm forgetting something, but
That's okay. That's really cool. I'm dying to get to Tangier. I think it's such a cool, vibrant city. It's a really unique mix of cultures, and it's a place that I would like to get the admissions office to possibly get me to recruit from, but we'll see. Now, we had a question in the chat regarding when to submit that final transcript. For students, you don't need to submit that really until the summer. So once you've graduated from your high school, and again, taken that time to celebrate and just, again, just really take a breath after that accomplishment. But you'll have that opportunity between really, again, once you graduate until the start of classes and when you get to campus to submit that final high school transcript. We always recommend getting it in sooner rather than later so that we can review it and make sure that, again, that final high school graduation date is listed. And then if you do have any college credit or any, dual enrollment work, any AP work, anything that needs to be evaluated, the sooner you get that information to us, the better, so that we can work through it and get that information back to you in a timely manner. So again, there is no real deadline for you to get that final high school transcript submitted other than before you get to campus and move in. But again, the sooner the better for us so we can really work with students around credit and also making sure everything's in line. But like I said, get that in as soon as possible after you've graduated. Um, keep utilizing the Q&A if you have more questions. Abby, did you have a chance to study abroad?
I did not study abroad. I do wish I did. I think it would have been a really cool opportunity. And all my friends
Mm-hmm.
who went abroad absolutely loved their time over there. So,
Okay. Well, can you talk a little bit more about really as a first year, some of the direct support services in terms of like tutoring offering. Obviously we have student counseling services, which I'm happy to talk about more as well. We have
mhm.
our student access center. Can you just provide a little bit more of an overview of, again, those tutoring offerings in particular?
Yeah, for tutoring, it's a really helpful resource on campus. You don't get cut off after a certain amount of sessions or anything like that. So students are really able to use it however much or however little they want to. And we have all peer tutors. So they take in the class before, most likely with the same professor that you have your classes with. So they know the material really well and can help sometimes explain it in different ways. And for tutoring, you make appointments online and they'll sometimes say like drop-in hours that you can go into our Student Academic Success Center where tutoring is, or you can do like one-on-one sessions. They do group reviews and group sessions. So it's a really great opportunity to stay on top of studying or get help when you might need it.
Yeah. And for those students who do need additional accommodations in the classroom, we have our student access center, which is providing students again those accommodations. And really, if you do need accommodations, whether that's extra time on tests, whether that's additional housing accommodations, whatever it may be, the student access center provides an opportunity for you to work with professionals on campus. They're going to talk with you, understand the accommodations that you'll need, and then they will come up with a plan that works best for you. So it isn't on the student or on the family to go and work with faculty who you haven't met yet. And again, haven't really worked through the course schedule. That's going to be on our professional staff to work with you and to work with our faculty and staff here on campus. So the other piece is that we do also offer free counseling services for students through our UNE student counseling offices, which is run through our student health center. So there's a lot of opportunities if you need that additional sort of support, whether that's, again, a lot to transition to college, whether things are going on at home, whatever it may be, you have people here on campus to talk to outside of even just your academic advisors. And those, again, can be your first point of contact on campus. But we do have those professional staff members here to, again, accommodate and provide that additional assistance if you may need it. And again, that would be free for all of our students as well. Now, as we wrap up here, before we say goodnight and say goodbye to you all, and we do appreciate you all taking the time, Clara, can you just provide a little bit more information around, your experience in the nursing program and that transition to the Portland campus in particular? I think for a lot of our students in dental hygiene, nursing, pharmacy, our students in the pre med bio the pre med track, the pre dental medicine track. I think there's just some anxiety around that. Could you just talk a little bit about your experience transitioning up to the Portland campus?
Yeah, so I'm getting ready to transition this upcoming fall. I'm like finishing all of my paperwork now, getting in like my background check for clinicals and all of that. But you'll take a class the semester before you do that kind of prepares you for that transition, and they teach you like everything you need to know about clinicals, all of those random questions that you might have. And especially for nursing, they do a really good job with the Student Nursing Association, where I've been up to Portland twice in the last 2 weeks to go take tours, get my questions answered, meet with some of the faculty. So I've definitely asked them 500 questions, and I have some emails, and I'm going to continue emailing them with all of my questions, and they've all been amazing. So they really do make sure that you know everything that's going to happen, and they're an amazing resource.
Very cool. Thank you. Abby, can you just talk a little bit about the sort of hands-on experiences that you've had on campus in terms of internships or research and what that looks like as you start to think about, what's going to be next as well?
Yeah. So for my internship, I did a 1 credit internship at the Biddeford Primary School my sophomore year, and I was in a functional life skills classroom. And while I was there, I also shadowed an occupational therapist there, so I was able to get some shadowing hours done in a school setting, which was really cool. For some of our classes, we do simulations that prepare you to work with. They hire these patients, actors to work with. So you get that really hands-on experience with real people and having conversations with them. We worked a lot with like motivational interviewing and things like that to really prepare you for, specifically me, for grad school for occupational therapy and things like that. So it won't be as intimidating doing simulations during grad school either, which will be nice.
That's really cool. And I know from my own personal experience, I had to do physical therapy last winter. And I was working with UNE students at the office every time I went. And I think that's, again, they were all undergraduate students. They were students, a couple of them who were student ambassadors, and a couple of them who I'd never seen on campus before. So it was really unique for me to have that different form of interaction. And I know my first year when I was working in the office, I went to a chiropractor in Biddeford after travel season and ran into a student ambassador who was an occupational studies student who was doing an internship there. So it's a really unique opportunity, and there's a lot of different hands-on, opportunities for students to get involved in. Um, a couple final questions. Clara, could you just talk about some of the um, sort of allergy or what we provide in the dining hall in terms of allergens and what we cover and things like that?
Yeah, so I personally have celiac, so I'm entirely gluten-free, no cross-contamination, any of that. So they were also able to deal with that in Morocco, which was great. So I was still able to travel. You can travel with allergies. Um, but at Biddeford, they have a section called Inspired Eat, which is like separate kitchen, totally separate prep materials. And that's top nine allergen free. There's a woman who runs it. Her name's Deb, and she is amazing. And you can ask her any questions too. You'll like see her around. She figures out who everyone is. And then when I went to Morocco, they also made me a little card in Arabic and in French that explained my allergy. And that was people on campus who did that for me. So they definitely work really well with allergies and dining.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, we are going to start to wrap up here. I can appreciate your time tonight, Abby and Clara. Your insight into campus is, again, I think really valuable. And obviously, you're the ones living the experience. So, you know what's best on campus. You know what station's the best at the dining hall, all those types of things. But as we wrap up, just a few, again, final reminders for you all. Please, if you haven't already, take a deep breath. Whether you're admitted, whether you're deposited to the university, which we are really excited to welcome you to campus, take a deep breath. Again, if you're deposited, you're right where you need to be. There's things that you can do in front of you in terms of filling out the housing and dining application, signing up for orientation. but you've got time to complete those tasks. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out directly to us. And if you haven't deposited yet, that's okay as well. Take a deep breath. Know that you've still got time in this process to make that final decision. And whether it's UNE or it's another university, just know that it's all going to be okay and it's all going to work out. And again, just take that deep breath and we're rooting for you. So if you have any questions, you can always reach out to our counselors. Again, I work with students from Boston, the North Shore of Mass. All of our counselors oversee a specific geographic territory. So if you have any questions, you can always find their contact information on our website. You can always reach out to just our general email or phone number as well. So please don't hesitate to reach out. We're happy to connect you with offices on campus as well. But again, I want to thank Clara and Abby. And before we head out for the night, one final question for you both. As you think about this next couple of weeks, any advice for our students in their process as they make this final decision? Anything that you can think back to your time and when you made your final decision and why you chose UNE? Clara, we'll start with you.
So I was kind of a nervous wreck at the end of my senior year. I had no idea what I was gonna do. Um, and honestly, no regrets. So I have a lot of friends who are in similar situations who end up at different schools too. Just I think my advice would be whatever happens, I think you'll be able to find a way to figure it out. Just kind of you will learn to adapt and you'll make a lot of friends and they'll be amazing. So I think that's the biggest thing that helped me here was all of the friends that I made, which sounds corny, but it's true.
Awesome. Abby?
Um, I would say take it one day at a time. Just kind of keep moving through it. When I was deciding on where I wanted to go, I did not know what I actually wanted to do at all. I completely came into UNE with a different major and quickly switched out of that one, but it's okay to change your mind, especially once you're already at school and things like that too. So kind of go with the flow and like what you actually want to do. It's really easy to make a change if you want to.
Awesome. I think my final piece of advice for you all is very similar to our students, and that is really just know that wherever you end up, whether it's UNE or a different school, you will figure it out. You will be okay. Uh, there is the right place for everybody, and again, you'll have that opportunity to really dive in and make those places that you're saying yes to your home. And I think that's the really cool opportunity that you all have in front of you. No matter where you decide, is that next place that you say yes to is hopefully going to be your home for the next 4 years, and you really get to make that place your home. So again, we want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. We want to thank again our students again, Claire and Abby, for joining. We hope you all have a good rest of your evening. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. But thank you. Have a good rest of your evening and go Nor'easters.